Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 447 for April 14th, 2024. Make sure to do your taxes, everybody. My name is Nathan Reensbruth, and joining me this week we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
It's me, I'm here.
And Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
You've listened to the best, now tolerate us specifically.
Yes. And let me just say, I saw a bunch of people on my friends list on Facebook being like, oh, I finally filed my taxes last night.
Ooh, that's a late date.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I file my taxes immediately. February 2nd, my taxes are done. So I don't understand. Especially when
I
it's
did not file immediately, just specifically because I paid off my loans last year, in the middle of the year. So I wasn't sure if I needed to get any paperwork for that this year, and I did end up getting some. So it's a good thing I didn't immediately file.
Yeah. When it's something like that, they're supposed to give it to you by February 1st.
Yeah,
but they don't always do
didn't happen.
Yeah. But if you just have a normal W-2 and you get that, then just do your taxes. Especially, and part of the reason I wanted to do them this year was because Oregon had a huge kicker, and I got $2,400 back. It was great.
That from all the drugs ever being legal?
Well, we didn't tax. We didn't sell and tax the other drugs. Just the weed drugs. But the weed drugs, we've ended up getting kickers the last few years just because I think of all the money we're bringing in from weed. It's great.
Be cool if they just dropped the price of weed, but that's pretty cool too.
I mean, I don't buy weed, so yeah, jack those prices up. Doesn't bother me. And I think Oregon has really good weed.
So it's my understanding that the state that Aroa and I are in, it's not good.
It's like me.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's very out of control.
Yeah. I have no idea.
They top out the THC at 10 milligrams.
I have
and they
no
tax you 25% or 33% on it, something like it. The stronger the strain, the higher the tax. That's kind of all I know about it.
I'm sure there is a tax on weed when you buy it. But, well, yeah, there's definitely a tax on weed. But we don't have sales tax. So that makes it a little bit cheaper, which is nice. And same thing if you, buy a car in Oregon. You don't have sales tax on it. So you don't have to pay, whatever that 7 or 8% tax is on top of the price of the car. It's awesome.
That is nice.
Yeah. Anywho, let me ask, hey guys, where can I find you?
Aroa.website. I know that sounds funny, but if you type it in your browser, you'll get a whole bunch of links, and I think it even does a thing with dancing Pikachus and in the Undertale music. And one of those links that I want to draw your attention to is Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6 World Edition actual play podcast. You can find that anywhere that fine podcasts are found, and I work pretty dang hard on it.
Yeah. That's it. It's a good one. Yeah.
Did I nail it? Was there anything else I needed to say with that?
I mean, you could talk about Clinton's Core Classics.
And you could get Clinton's Core Classics, a Pathfinder First Edition actually podcast, wherever fine podcasts are found. I guess somebody's actually going through and still listening through that. So, yeah, you go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Keep those numbers up. It would be funny.
Girl.
I always get delighted when someone pops in the server and is like, "I'm a real big fan of your show," and then Nathan's like, "Son of a bitch." That part specifically, I love.
Yeah,
I'm mainly
this podcast.
I'm mainly playing it up, but I'm like maybe one person that's a fan of my podcast.
No.
Maybe every once in a while,
You
I'll
got
get
fan art, man.
I did get fan art, and then I have people who have joined the server from watching my stream, so it's not that bad. Anywho, what games have you played this week, Aroa? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Do you need to check your profile page on Steam while I take over?
Well, the thing is, it looks like I haven't really played anything since Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Oh,
and that was Balatro because I finished a run, and then I was like, all right, I did it,
you did it.
and
At this point, I don't actually know what Balatro is, and I'm a little afraid to ask. I hear a lot of people talk good about. I hear a lot of people saying they can't stop playing.
so Balatro is like video poker as a roguelite. I think that's the easiest way to put it. So like you have to try to make a certain amount uh over the course of a few hands, and like every round you go into a shop and you can upgrade your cards, and there are these like joker cards that change certain aspects of the gameplay. Like you can get a card that's like straights can skip a number, so you can make a straight with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that kind of thing. Or like if you keep a face card in your hand, each one of those face cards gives you an extra $3. Like it, that's pretty cool. You can upgrade how much money an individual hand gives you. Uh, it's like it's very simple, but it's very addicting. Yeah, especially if you're like me and you already have a problem with video poker to begin with. Uh, and
We
yeah,
discussed
like
this last
I've
week. We discussed this
we
last
did.
week, and Aroa said that he doesn't like to go to video poker places because he knows he'll just spend all of
Yeah,
his money.
yeah, I've spent more time than I should have on Wizard of Odds, reading the game theory behind video poker. Uh, and like it's taking that vice and then combining it with the sort of uh, chemical goodness that you get out of a game like Binding of Isaac or something, where like you're able to find synergies between items that end up completely breaking the game. And yeah, it's fun. It's a really good time. They
Good.
call it a deck builder, which find is more of a almost more of a pun than anything, because at least in my opinion, there's really not a lot of deck building that goes on. It's more about finding synergies between Joker cards and like trying to adapt your play style as you go through. It's kind of sad that nobody seems to remember that Luck Be a Landlord was a thing, because it reminds me of that more than anything else. Just not only because of the gambling aspect of it, but that's just kind of how the game flows. It's not just about planning like the next two or three hands. It's like being able to adapt to things as new things happen, and having to rely on luck for a lot of it. Yeah, it's a good game.
Well,
Highly
that's good.
recommend.
That's good, and it's not too expensive, right? It's like under
It
$20.
is currently $15. I think I got it on sale,
Yeah, I've
but
seen it under 10, I think, or like 10.30 something, or some
yeah,
weird number
I,
like
I
that.
think I got it for like $10. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I probably won't get it. I have enough games to play right now, just because I play way too many games. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk to Cyberpunk Monk and ask what games he's played this week.
Luckily, I got a pretty short list here. I have played a little bit of that Helldivers 2. If you haven't listened to the episode that Aro and I did, like, I don't know, 2 months ago now at this point, I am a big fan of that game.
That
Still
was
plays like a charm.
episode 442.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
the other game that I have been playing, tell you what, one of my buddies, when I woke up this morning, was like, hey, I need some help in StarCraft. I know you like StarCraft. Do you want to help me out? And I'm like, sure, buddy. Let me wake up and I'll be happy to help you with whatever you need. Unfortunately, what I didn't know is he needed help getting his ranked placement matches.
What?
Have you guys ever played ranked StarCraft before?
I
No.
don't even want to think about it.
I was actually upset. And I was so upset that I was making him upset because he's like, I didn't even care if we lose because having a low MMR just means you're in low ranks, which means you have easier games at first. But you are so upset that it's actually ruining my morning. And I was like, StarCraft.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time I played StarCraft 2 was with you. Cuz I don't enjoy StarCraft really.
I love StarCraft, but ranked is just a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody just start harassing your supply lines like before you even have your first units out and you're like, well,
Yes.
why do we bother continue playing? It's over, my friend. Oh no, we totally got this. No big deal. Never recover, get smashed 40 minutes later, and it's like, well, we gave it our best, didn't we? It's like, no. Couldn't even start. Fuck this game.
Yeah,
Pardon my language.
I've had issues with that with the original StarCraft because people are like, "Hey, come over to the LAN party," and I'm like, "I've never played StarCraft before," and then I died immediately. Somebody like did a Zerg rush on me.
Yeah, that's
And-
the kind of shenanigans I was being dealt with today. I was genuinely upsetty spaghetti.
And then I just sat there for an hour while everybody else just built up their units, and I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll just browse the internet, I guess, while you guys have fun." So I did not have fun. I did not enjoy that. Anyway.
That's basically it. I've done a lot of editing this week, been like a productive boy. Hopefully next week I'll play more video games.
Hopefully. That'd be nice. And for me, Nathan Reed's Brute, the games I played this week was Monday I played some more WWE 2K24, and the voice acting is just as bad. Continues to be just as bad. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I played Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, continuing to play through that. I am about 2/3 of the way, a little over 2/3 of the way through the game. It's very good and very long. It's a very long game, but I really enjoy it, so that's good. Also,
I can't wait for Sega to inevitably make it like 66% off in a year so I could finally play it.
That would be great. That would be nice. And I know you wanted to, like, there's some stuff that they included in the deluxe version or the DLC that some people were like, this should not be included, like the New Game Plus, because a lot of people want to play New Game Plus, and I'm just like, I never do that. I've never played a New Game Plus, so I don't think I'll have to worry about it.
A lot of people are saying that there are certain Chivos that are tied to it, and I think that's the only thing that kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. Besides that, it's whatever. If you don't like it, you don't got to do it. I don't think it's ruining your game, the fact that it's there. Like, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and there are certain things like I'm not going to do in the game. Like there's a baseball mini game where you go to a batting range and you have to like hit the balls perfectly to like unlock new things in the batting
hit
mini
the
game.
balls perfect.
And
I think that was in the last Like a Dragon game.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. And it's just the patterns are somewhat, they're not random, but you have to memorize the patterns so that you can hit the ball every time 100% correct. And I'm just like, I'm not going to memorize all that for every single portion of this mini game. So I think there's actually, I looked it up, there's like a guide online that shows you like where the ball's going to land so you can hit it. And I'm just not going to do that. Anyway, then I played on Friday because the new Fallout TV show came out. So Air Fox and I played some Fallout 76, and it's all right. Like it's fine. We ended up, I'm level 50. I found out after Air Fox created a new character that it actually gives you the option to say, like, are you new to the Wasteland, so you have to go through the tutorial stuff, or are you an experienced? Have you played Fallout 76 before? And it doesn't give you max level, but it puts you at level 20, which I think is a fair compromise. Just say, hey, you're level 20, you can go on and start doing missions and stuff. We ended up, the big thing that happened to us was, for some reason, a random spawn happened where it was a level 74 creature against both of us. And mind you, he's level 21 at the time, I think. And I was level 51 or 52. And so we just shot all of our bullets into it until it died. because we broke it. The AI would not allow it to go into this house that we were in. So we would go out of the house and like give it some pot shots, and it would come up to attack us, and then we would hide back in the house. And so we abused the game systems to kill a level 74 monster.
Riveting stream.
It was great. It was wonderful. It wasn't too bad. And that's it. That was everything. I forgot to tell you where you could find me, which is just Reetin everywhere. REETIN, mainly on Twitch, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I do live streams. You can watch me play all the games I talk about. And we're gonna move on and talk about some news stories. There's a new Steam Deck coming, made by a different company called the Sui Play Zero X1, and it looks really bad. First off,
bad.
They only have a mock-up. They don't have an actual. They don't have an actual like unit available. And I tried looking up any like specs that they're gonna have on it, and they did not have any specs on it. There was nothing. They don't even have like a processor that they're going to use, or even a type of processor. They said we might go with AMD, but there's other, CPU, GPUs that we're looking into. So they don't have anything for this. They don't have how much RAM it's going to have, nothing. And the only thing that they're hanging their hat on is that with this new handheld, it'll be built on the blockchain, and you can like make payments with Bitcoin and or mine Bitcoin with it. It's the world's first blockchain native handheld gaming console. So it's really bad.
So I'm on the website like for Playtron,
Uh-huh.
and this looks like it just looks like a scam. Like I don't even know how else to put it.
Yeah.
Like the mock-up for the device itself looks like a photoshopped Steam Deck, which like on the one hand, that's kind of what a lot of these little like Steam Deck wannabe console things look like anyway. But like it even has a little oval shaped button on the left side of it. I wonder if there's more to this image. There is. Yeah, they even have a little overflow menu, the little 3 dots button on the right, and it's oval shaped.
Yeah.
Like the analog sticks are in the same place. They've got these 2 superfluous LEDs near the top. Like it, actually, you know what it looks like? Is it? It looks like they just asked an AI to make it.
I mean,
Kind of.
It's possible that they did. Like this is definitely a scam, I would say. They're saying that they're making their own Playtron OS, which I assume is just going to be like
It is
Hollow
Linux
OS
based.
yeah, it's Linux based. I assume it's just going to be a ripoff.
Well, it says it on their page. It says Playtron OS, Linux-based gaming OS compatible with every game store. Okay, and many third-party integrations to come. Supports many devices day one. Okay, what devices? What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Many new form factors. Playtron OS supports both ARM and x86-based PC architectures. Expect Playtron on laptops and PCs, TVs, XR, and in car in the coming years.
Sure.
Just so you know, I am advising anybody that actually listens to this podcast to never install Playtron OS. Because it's definitely a bad thing, and it's probably like ransomware. It's awful.
This feels like it's exactly one step higher than like the Soulja Boy console, and that's not a compliment.
Yeah, like they don't actually like have any links to any kind of software or any actual like information on what the fuck it is outside of just what's on this page. They have a block here that says open source powered. We believe Linux is the future of gaming. The Playtron team has deep roots in open source projects from Android's early days to key contributions to modern Linux gaming projects. Playtron will be making community tools available for contribution and is hiring actively from the Linux gaming community. And then they have like uh, they aren't even linking out to the projects. They have just listed a few like Linux based gaming projects, and then they've got like these people that I don't recognize, but apparently they're like they were involved with Boost Mobile, Cyanogen, and multiple startups. Which, okay, is that supposed to like give me confidence in you that you've been part of multiple startups and you just don't name it?
Yeah.
Uh, you got this guy, Alone in the Dark, Atari, Climax, multiple startups. Okay, so then we got Atari and specifically Alone in the Dark, which
Are
the
we
last
talking?
time that
Are we talking original Alone in the Dark or the one for like the Xbox 360?
I'm willing to bet that it's the shit that they did later on with Atari. I don't
Yeah.
really know. Like what is it? Illumination or whatever.
Right.
Uh so this dude on his LinkedIn said that he worked with him on Alone in the Dark 1 and 2. So maybe not. I don't know. But it's still like just very I don't know. Everything about this is just sketchy. They've also got this other guy who worked with Google on Android and worked at Meta and worked at Mercari, which I can't remember what that is, but it gives me a bad taste.
I
I don't
know.
I can't
I
I've heard
know.
it, but
Yeah, I know. I've heard Mercari. I can't quite place it. I want to say it's like printing and stuff, but that's probably way off.
they
Anyway.
they have they have listed like team with experiences from, and it's like just a bunch of people that worked at these various big name companies.
We hired all of
Which
the best Orange County interns in the area.
yeah, like none of this means anything. And then they have a list of investors, which the only one that I recognize at all is fucking Samsung Next, which like okay, great job. You managed to pitch to Samsung's investing division, like
Nice.
whatever.
A company
Uh,
very famously known for their gaming enterprise.
yeah. Uh, Meanwhile, you've got another one that's Polychain, and if you go to their website, it's just a white page with plain text that says Polychain with a bunch of marketing gobbledygook.
Yeah. They don't have they don't have anything listed on their specs, price, or planned release date. That I guess they say 2025-ish is when they want to release this. But like I think they're leaning way too hard into crypto, and crypto is like I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's definitely not as relevant as it was like 4 years ago.
Crypto, in the way that they are trying to advertise it, is definitely no longer relevant.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what about all of my Bored Ape photos? Are they not worth billions anymore?
No,
I'm sorry to break it to you.
my apes are gone.
That's
They
that's
Fucking
stole
dorks.
them.
yeah. Some people really like those bored apes and stuff. We are gonna move on because I don't want to talk about this anymore, and we're gonna talk about broadband nutrition facts.
It's funny you said that. I had the exact same thought when I saw the photo of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's everyone's making that joke, but basically, we've spoken about it before, where the FCC wanted to say, hey, you need to list out all of the shit that you're making your people pay for, and the big broadband people like AT&T and I don't know Charter, Spectrum, I don't know. They all said, well, we can't do that because it would be really hard to list all of those fees. And they tried various ways to get around this or to have FCC not do this. And the FCC just told them, well, you're going to do it anyway. This is your new rule, so deal with it. And they're starting to have to do that, which is great. So starting today, this was on the 10th. So starting the 10th of April, ISPs must clearly display labels with price speeds and data caps. And there's a quote here. This is all from Ars Technica. It says, today's nationwide launch of broadband consumer labels means internet service providers are now required to display consumer-friendly labels at the point of sale. Labels are required for all standalone home or fixed internet service or mobile broadband plans. Providers must display the label, not simply an icon or link to the label, in close proximity to an associated plan's advertisement. I do like that they are very clear, like that they need to display the label and not just be like, here's a QR code to the label, because nobody's going to do that. If there's a link, that just creates a barrier that somebody's not going to click on that link. And there on the right side of this page shows kind of what it should look like. So it'll like monthly price, then the like modem rental fees with the extender, installation costs, battery backup costs, early termination fee, government taxes, the typical download speed, typical upload speed, typical
Calories per
latency.
serving, iron, trans fats.
I'm on AT&T's website because I was curious as to what they would say about my current service. And it actually, whenever you put in your info and it pulls up like, here's the 1 gig plan, the 500 megabit plan, and all that. The nutrition facts are right underneath of it, and it's all fairly plainly laid out. Besides government taxes, which says varies by location, which is
that's fair. I guess
whatever, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's.
But
I'm
do
not gonna
like that
complain too much about that.
it specifically says this monthly price is not an introductory rate. This monthly price does not require a contract. Price does not include discounts. I'm assuming that if I were to go to Spectrum's website and do the same thing, the line that says this is not an introductory rate would say this is an introductory rate, and that there would be another section that shows what the actual monthly rate is.
Interesting.
Just because Spectrum, that's like the way that they rake in people around here. At least
they do that everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, like they always will go like 300 megabit per second for only $40 a month for the first 12 months, and AT&T doesn't do that. But it's cool that it's all very plainly laid out. It turns out this wasn't difficult at all.
Yeah.
What do you know?
That's amazing. That's fantastic that they were able to do that so quickly too. Anyway.
It's almost like they were just trying to make money all along.
Yeah, it's weird. That weird thing that capitalism does, where people just lie all the time. But yeah, so if you are buying internet service, you should expect those to be. I don't know if it's going to be updated for every company right away, especially if it's like a smaller company that might take them some time to update it, but it should be done. It should have been done a few days ago, because this is on the 14th of April, and we are recording on the 14th of April, and it was done on the 10th of April in 2024. So it should all be done by now. And we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about a story that Connor brought up, where apparently they can't make x.com tags work, like links work.
It's a little worse than that. Apparently nobody has the foresight to raise their hand and go, this is a really fucking bad idea, boss. And okay, let me just take a step back for our single normie listener out there. If you were to picture in your mind's eye like a Word document, you could do a global replace. Let me get a really good example here. Say I'm typing something up for like my D&D podcast, and I keep on typing in wizard or mage more specifically, and that's not going to work. I need to replace one with the other. You could just Control F, do something, and it'll go through that entire document, and every instance of one of those words, it'll replace it with another. And that's fine for that one specific example, but you are going to have some weird outliers that if you don't, let's say have the foresight to think about, they're going to slip through. For example, what if I'm casting the spell Mirror Image? Well, that spell is now Mirror a Wizard. because image has the mage in it, or say I want to do damage to somebody. Damage. That's now the wizard. How much the wizard can you take before you're down? You could think that just by quickly replacing and not thinking about what you're replacing, you can get in these oopsies situations. Now let's go to Twitter, where you have this ketamined out jackass who's like, I really hate seeing Twitter on my website. I want it all to be X. Make it all X. I know. Let's globally replace every instance of twitter.com to x.com. And just that way the browser will do it. No one will be any wiser. Except what happens, and I used this specific example in Discord, and luckily somebody already thought about this. What if I were to go like, hey, I am now the owner of www.netflitwitter.com. That's now going to show up on Twitter as Netflix, because netflitwitter.com, it's just looking for twitter.com and replacing. It doesn't matter if that website, as soon as you click on it, it's going to steal all of the metadata that I can get from you. You're not going to know. I could even make it look like Netflix if I really care, and I probably don't. Once you click on it, that's probably all I need.
That's interesting. And
nobody saw that as a problem on Twitter. So I'm pretty sure that is live right now.
Let's back up here. I'm sure there are people who foresaw this as a problem, but Elon just said, "Well, do it. It'll be fine." And maybe nobody brought up those concerns to Elon, but somebody had those concerns, but had no access to Elon. So they're like, well, I guess I just got to do it. And then it's going to break. I know, being an IT guy, that I've been in that situation. And I'm sure both of you have been in the situation where somebody's like, hey, you got to do this. And you're like, this isn't going to work, or it's going to suck. And your like management just like, yeah, well, that's what we're being told to do. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to break everything, but fucking I'll do it, I guess. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know that I've been in situations like that, and pretty much any IT person has been in situations like that, where we're just like, this is just going to make things harder for everyone. And it does. And then they do stupid. So, yeah, that's funny. Has that been reversed, or you said it was still live on Twitter?
It's to my understanding, it is still live. Aroa brought to my attention that I guess, I'm not sure if it was someone in Japan or just the Japanese government, was like, no, that's going to be used maliciously. Let's be proactive about this.
It was just a cool guy in Japan.
Just a cool guy in Japan. He specifically, I had used that Netflix Twitter example because that was the first thing I could think of that ended with x.com. And if you go there right now, it's got this warning that's like, hey, Elon Musk's fucking dumb. If you got sent here, there's a good chance it was done maliciously. Be careful next time.
Yeah, that's
it says it again in Japanese.
It is no longer active. I can confirm, because whenever I posted a particular post after learning about this, the URLs that I posted did not get replaced with xnxx.com, xvideos.com, and xhamster.com. So,
well, thank you for trying. That is one hell of a way to get your field data, and I salute it.
Yes. So, yes, it was not a good move on their part to try to do.
This is a cautionary tale for our hypothetical programmers out there.
Yeah,
do your testing.
Yeah, and like, to your example with Word, like you do a find replace and you do mage and you switch it to wizard. You can do, I believe there's a button you can press to make it strict, so it has to be just that word.
Yes, but if you're doing this via programming script, it's not going to be that smart. Like,
no, you have to program
find, replace. It is going to do that with extreme. What's the opposite of prejudice?
I don't know.
Disregard. It's not going to care at all what it replaces. It's just going to do it.
Well, and one example that I've used in the past is MapleStory. You could not type in the word basement in MapleStory because in the middle of basement is semen.
Oh, semen.
Yep.
So, very similar to what's happening here, where people are just like messing with the algorithm, and it could be maliciously used.
Just because it's funny. Do you guys know the story about Nasser?
Nasser? No.
Well, I want to say it was Guild Wars 1. There was a character named Nasser, Nasser,
Yes.
and it replaced the ass part with 3 asterisks, which turned his name a lot worse. Again,
funny.
if you're a programmer, these are the sort of things you actually need to think about.
Yes, you definitely do. And I can't think of any other examples of that, but I'm sure there are thousands of examples of not thinking about what's going on and then just or not thinking about the ramifications and what people are going to do with what you're making changes to the website or something like that. So yeah, they should definitely think about things before they implement them, but that doesn't seem like Elon's MO is to like think about things before he says them or does them. Because he bought Twitter for $44 billion because of a joke. So obviously he makes bad financial decisions sometimes. But
Sometimes.
I guess we're just gonna segue into our next one, which is more bad decisions made by Tesla.
This one is a little extreme in a oh dear God, how did you let that happen kind of sense. This is one of those things where there should be actual engineers in the room holding up actual red flags.
What happened here? Connor brought this up. So what?
No,
what's
I did.
this? Oh, sorry, Aroa brought this up. So what's the story here?
Me. So this lady posted a video on TikTok that starts out with her. She just got stuck in her Tesla because it started a software update, and it was like, "Hey, we got to do a software update. It's going to take like 20 minutes. Okay, so don't open the door. Don't do anything." Because apparently that's one of the warnings that you're given. Like it's in the manual. You can't open the doors or start the car or do anything while it's updating.
I'm pretty sure I would still do that.
Well, it
you'd fucking
could
think
void your warranty. I don't know. Actually, I saw elsewhere in this article, someone had said that it actually disables your ability to open and close the door, or to open the doors.
That is my understanding. That while it's happening, it just says, "Nah, it might fuck with it. Don't do that. Can't do it."
Yeah. Because they're motorized. So
well,
like,
yes, but what happens is, because I've been in a few Teslas now. You press a button, and it will lower the window just a crack, because otherwise, if it opened without doing that, it could like damage the trim. But
see, the baby's fine. The window's got a crack.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a mechanical lever you can pull too. Like you can override that.
Pull
with
that lever, baby.
Lever. Yeah, which is what I would do.
But if you're, I don't know how old this woman is. She doesn't look particularly old.
Yeah.
But if you're this woman, like, you're gonna go, well, I don't want to fuck up my $300,000 car.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's a Model 3. It was like $50,000.
Oh, sorry, $50,000 car.
Yeah.
That routinely takes like upwards of 6 months to get parts in, so that if I do fuck anything up, I'm not gonna have a car for 6 months.
Yeah. I understand.
I'm just gonna sit and wait for the update to complete. Well, 40 minutes later, it's 115 degrees in the car, and it still hasn't finished updating.
Nice.
And yeah, I just cannot fathom why you would design a vehicle like this.
Why wouldn't you?
It was somebody else. The thing I was thinking of, somebody had replied to the chick and said that, one time I got locked out of my Tesla while it was updating, and I had to get it towed.
That's fun. I mean,
that's curious.
I would prefer that. I would prefer that over getting, like, murdered in my Tesla from heat stroke.
Yeah.
But that would it would be bad, like,
but
if let's say you're running from somebody who's trying to attack you, and your car's like, sorry, can't get in, You're having an
Yeah.
update.
Like there are a number of really stupid things about this. Like my car is it's just a fucking Nissan Rogue. And as much as I don't like it, it has software updates, but
Yeah.
I can just tell it no, not right now, and it'll say okay, and then it just lets me continue on with my fucking day. And I don't know completely for sure, but I would imagine that if I started the car while it was updating, it wouldn't affect anything.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't. I mean, I haven't had my car for very long, so I haven't even like seen it do updates. So I wonder if it just updates while it's outside in my
uh,
in my
do
parking
you
lot.
do you have it connected to your Wi-Fi?
It was when I first got it, but I think that I have to pay for like the Wi-Fi link. But it's connected to my
Well,
phone. Like there's an app on my phone that it's connected to. So it's possible it updates because it checks in with the app all the time. People have actually
oh,
complained about it.
that could be cellular. Mine,
Yeah.
I I I don't even know if my car has cellular data, but mine connects to my home Wi-Fi, and that's how it gets updates.
Mm,
But then, like, usually I have to manually do it.
yeah.
Uh, but sometimes I'll turn it on and it'll be like, "Hey, there's an update if you'd like to install it." And I'm like, "No, I don't care." 'Cause it's because it's the old style of and I'm gonna be an old man right now, but it's the old style of fucking computer system in a car where like the infotainment system and the actual instrument panel, they're two separate systems. They barely talk to each other. And so I'm pretty sure you can't update anything as far as the instrument panel and like the actual engine computer over the air. You would have to take it to a dealership or some other kind of service place to have them do it. And I'm sure that all they do is they plug something into the computer under the hood and run a thing and it goes. But like I it's a hell of a lot better than getting in your car and then just being stuck in it because you're afraid that if you open the door it'll break your car.
Yeah.
Like
And I've done that in Teslas before where I've opened with the lever because I didn't know about the button. And it didn't do anything to the trim of the car, but it is possible that it could crack the glass or mess up the trim. So you
well,
don't
I think
want to do that.
this is one of those this is a situation of like don't open the door because it could like make the car interrupt the update or the update could do something that's talking to the unit that controls the door in some way. And so if you do open the door the normal way, that could fuck with the computer side of things. It's like it's the like don't turn your computer off while Windows is updating thing, but Windows has been stuck updating for the last 3 hours and it's kind of getting ridiculous. And
Yeah.
what else am I gonna do? And like pre Windows 7, if you did that, there was a good chance that Windows wasn't gonna turn back on again. Like,
Sometimes you do have to update, or sometimes you do have to like reboot during a Windows update. I haven't had that problem in a while now, quite a few years, but
in in the corporate world, I've had that issue, but it's usually just like a bad image or a bad patch or whatever.
yeah,
yeah,
something like that, or whatever
10
the
and
servers
11
mess up.
have 10 and 11 have pretty well cleared that problem like 90% of the time.
I don't know. I
But
had an update that broke
that
my
wasn't
my
that
hard
wasn't my
drive.
point. Just saying.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your point, but I'm very happy that this person did not die in her Tesla.
Yeah, and so that was another thing is like this was a relatively young woman. Like she's definitely like in her 30s at her very oldest, but I am willing to bet that she's probably like mid 20s. Imagine that you are an older person or like somebody with health issues
Yeah,
and like again like a lot of people cuz you also you also have to figure there are a lot of people who aren't going to think the way that you and I are because like yeah you and I would be like well, I own this vehicle. One, I'm going to be aware of the manual override to be able to open the door.
Yeah.
But two, I'm going to be generally aware that even if I open the door, it's probably not going to break anything. Normies, they're going to get in this situation. They're going to go, I feel like I'm about to pass out from heat stroke, but if I open the door, the Tesla's going to explode. and like,
That's how the batteries
just where they're at.
explode. That's what happens. They open the door. You open the door with the latch, and every once in a while, the battery explodes.
Like, this is where we're in the reality where there are people who wonder where the any key is on a keyboard. Like, you can't really assume that people are going to be intelligent enough or rebellious enough to go, you know what, fuck it. I don't care if the car breaks. I'm dying, and then just force the door open.
Well, like, yeah, the first time I did a Windows update that got stuck, I was just like, well, I need to wait. It's telling me I can't turn it off. You know, I
Right.
was pretty young, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll just, like, after like an hour, I was like, I guess I'll just turn it off and see if my computer explodes, and then it was fine. It ended up finishing the update.
Yeah.
But
like,
people aren't going to know that.
We've all worked in IT support. Like, we know how users are. Like, the computer tells you to do something, and you just do it because that your job is to follow the computer's instructions, and that's pretty much it. Like,
Or they ignore it for months.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
And say, and I keep on hitting ignore, and now it said I'm out of ignores, and my computer rebooted, and I didn't save anything that was open, and now it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my stuff? Why can't you you recover my stuff? I remember my first IT job. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but my first IT job, somebody had deleted their email box, but they had like backups. And so I restored a backup, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man. The best backup I could get you was like a month and a half ago. That was the last time that you were backed up. And so this was a customer service job, and he gave me a 1 out of 5. And I was like, this is your fucking fault. You deleted it. Whatever. So that was like my worst score I ever got at that job.
Reminds me of the time I was tasked with backing up an executive's laptop, and that was when their hard drive decided to die.
Nice.
What do you mean my data's not backed up? The drive's dead.
Did you put it in a freezer?
We sent it off to a specialist company who confirmed for us, no, this is super duper dead. There's nothing we could do with this. We're sorry.
Was it?
Money,
Jesus
please.
Christ.
Yeah. Was it like drive savers?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was my boss who sent it off at the time, but like the computer was already having issues. We were doing this backup so we can get this warranty repaired, and in the middle of the data transfer, it just stopped doing everything. We're like, that's not good.
Drive savers is the biggest one I can think of, and they're based in California. And one of my old coworkers used to work there. And while we were working together, Linus Tech Tips did a video on drive savers, and I was like, Phil, come over here, watch this video. And so he was like looking at it. He was like, hey, I know that guy. But yeah, like if a place like that can't recover your data, that drive is super messed up.
Thanks, Lenovo, for using only the highest quality parts in your hardware.
They have clean rooms that like they take apart hard drives and like replace the heads and stuff so that you can actually like get the data off.
Well,
so
this is yet another tangent, but like there are situations where like the like little thing on the head will fall off, and then it's just metal scraping against the platter.
Yeah.
And you're pretty well boned if that happens.
Yeah. Which is why you should always make sure to take lots of backups. And you should have 3 different backups.
You shouldn't regularly take 3 months off, and when you are off, only be on the VPN, which doesn't automatically back up your stuff, because who the fuck would do that on a VPN, you crazy person? And, and then
who would run a company like that?
Yeah.
And then when it's time to finally update, put it off for months and months until your hard drive physically dies. I'm not salty about it. You're salty about it.
Yeah. But anyway, we have went far beyond what we were talking about. If you get stuck in a Model 3 or Model Y or Model S or any Tesla vehicle and it's
Just
very
punch
hot
the window
outside.
out.
Yeah, and it's very hot outside. Just open the fucking door.
Yeah, just open the
It'll be
door.
fine.
If you can't open the door, take off the headrest, use the metal to break it. Don't use your fist, you will bleed out.
Well, I mean, doesn't everybody have one of those like window breakers in their car?
Almost certainly not.
Yeah,
crazy
probably
person.
not. Yeah, I don't have. I need to get
Just
one
get
of those.
yourself just get yourself a spark plug.
I hear those actually work pretty well for that.
They do.
Really easy,
Yeah.
but like not everyone's going to have the ability to break a spark plug at that. Like I know it, you just crack it on the ground, break it with your boot or whatever, but like if you're already in the car, there's a chance you might not be able to do that. Also, just open the door. Make cars where you can open the door. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like during an update, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. The door was open during the door sensor update, so now your car always thinks your door's open. Really? You can't just reset that?
If I were a rival company to
We're gonna need
Tesla,
a new door sensor put in here.
yeah, if I were a rival company to Tesla, I would make a thing that would be like, hey, your car needs to update. It may take 20 minutes. You can open the door and get out if you're in here, because why would somebody design something like that? That sounds stupid.
Alternatively, let me just throw this out here. Defer.
Yeah, that's
Nah,
true.
I don't
Just-
wanna.
I don't want to, like, that could be another thing where you could just, like, schedule your update and just be
Not
like,
even
yeah,
scheduling,
schedule
just
it.
I don't wanna.
Well, yes, you can give them various options. You can just not just A or B, Connor. Not just
Like,
update or
unless
not
it's-
update.
Unless it's like, hey, this update keeps the airbags from not going off. I don't want, like, if it's going to make my car need a warranty recall, okay, then I'll do it.
There are
What are
also there are certain updates that Tesla is forced to do because of different regulations that are coming in, especially with like self-driving technology. So there are certain updates that kind of have to be done.
Not when you're already on your way home and you have a kid in the car, or like if you're having a diabetic shock or something, like you should be able to say, hey, homie, not right now.
I agree
That's
with
all
that.
I'm really saying.
I know, I agree with that, but I think that there should be like a yes, no, and then like schedule for later. Like, and then you can schedule a time to update at like 2 a.m. or something like that while you're asleep. And that's what I'm saying.
You remember the days whenever you just got in the car and you turned the key and the damn thing started?
No, I don't. I've always had
I
shitty
remember
cars.
whenever you opened the hood of a car and the only thing in there was the engine and the coolant pump.
I'm sure you do, Grandpa
They
Roa.
didn't have so many damn fancy thingamajiggers in there.
See, you should have done the old man voice in that anime. That's what. Weird.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have been a really fitting voice for that character.
And weird. Excuse me. Give me just one moment.
We did it. We've come to another exciting conclusion to yet another episode of the Reeton Entertainment Podcast.
Thank you. I had to clear my throat. We'll be back next week talking about more news stories and video games and all that jazz. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We almost made an hour.